What's up, guys? Welcome back to another deck tech. This one is JURI, Master of the Review. Now, I'm doing this one. It is not fully optimized yet. I did order the cards for it, and they should be here in probably by the time you guys see this video, I should have the updated cards to put in it. But so far, I've been playing it for about 2 months as it is, and it plays. So I figured I would give you guys this version of it, and then in a couple weeks from now, maybe I'll do an updated version, an updated power scale of it, so you guys can see the differences and maybe try out the different way it plays. Who knows? But for right now, we're going to get into this deck profile as it is. This deck is all about sacrificing. JURI says when you sacrifice a permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on JURI, Master of the Review. When JURI dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. So this deck is all about sacrificing permanents and getting some stuff along the way when you do sacrifice your permanents, and then sacking JURI. Creatures in the deck: Zulaport Cutthroat, Havoc Jester, because if you're going to sack permanents, they're probably going to be creatures. So Cutthroat will get you some triggers, and then Jester will deal 1 damage to any target when you're just sacrificing whatever. Belligerent Guest: when it deals combat damage to a player, create a blood token, and in the blood tokens you can pay 1, discard a card, sack the blood token, and draw a card, which is sacrificing, which triggers JURI. Falconwrath Noble: when Falconwrath Noble or another creature you control dies, target player loses 1 life, you gain 1 life, because you're going to be sacking a lot of creatures. Tavern Scoundrel: whenever you win a coin flip, create 2 treasures. You can pay 1, sacrifice another permanent, and flip a coin. So not only does this let you sacrifice a permanent, if you win the coin flip, it'll give you 2 more permanents to sacrifice. Discordant Piper: when it dies, it creates a 0/1, so it's 2 bodies on 1 card. Great to sacrifice. Order of Midnight: return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, and then it is a flyer that can't block, but the returning a creature from your graveyard to your hand is the main important part. We got Bitter Blossom: at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and create a 1/1 fairy rogue, which is more stuff to sacrifice. Anox: hardened in the Forge: when Anox or another creature you control dies, non-token creature you control dies, create a 1/1 satyr. This creature can't block, and if this creature had 4 or more power, create 2 of those tokens instead. Pitless Plunderer: when another creature you control dies, create a colorless treasure artifact. So sacrificing your stuff, creating some treasures, sacking the treasures to make more stuff. Liliana's Devotee: now this is in here because at the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, you may pay 2. And if you do, create a 2/2 black zombie, so it gives you more stuff to sacrifice. King Makar, the Gold Cursed: when it becomes untapped, you may exile target creature. If you do, put a colorless gold token onto the battlefield, so you can sack it for more mana, and you get to exile something. Garna: when it enters the battlefield, return all creature cards in your graveyard that were put there from anywhere this turn. So depending on how it goes, if you board wipe and then put everything back in your hand, or if your opponent board wipes and you just happen to have the treasure tokens or the mana open, you flash in Garna and you get all your stuff back. Alright, pay 3, sacrifice creature, draw a card, never a bad thing. Judas Scorched Diva: other creatures you control get +1/+0, and when a non-token creature you control dies, Diva deals 1 damage to any target. So tons of ways to deal some damage. Tormod the Desecrator: when 1 or more creature cards leave your graveyard, create a tap 2/2 zombie token, so more stuff to sacrifice. Viscera: it's a sack outlet and you get to scry. Mayhem Devil: whenever a player sacrifices a permanent, Mayhem Devil deals a damage, so it gets some damage thrown around. Plaguecrafter, specifically because it says each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Nightmare Shepherd: Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you may exile it. If you do, create a token copy. That's a 1/1, and it's a nightmare in addition to its other types. Vampire Hexmage gives you something else to sacrifice. Rapacious Dragon, it gives you treasures. Fleshbag Marauder, because it says sacrifice a creature. Gatekeeper Malakir, you can kick it. Target player sacrifices a creature. Crypt Lurker, you may sacrifice a creature or discard a card. If you do, draw a card when it enters the battlefield. Woe Strider, it gives 2 bodies on 1 and a sack outlet. Squee, because you can sack them as much as you want and he'll keep coming back. Burnished Heart to find some lands. And it's another sacrifice for JURI. Sadistic Hypnotist. Sacrifice a creature. Target player discards 2 cards from his or her hand. Play this ability only time you can play a sorcery. So you start sacking your stuff. Those are the creatures in the deck. Artifacts, we have Magnifying Glass, pay 4 to investigate. Command Spear, sacrifice, draw a card, or tap for any color of your commander. Traveler's Amulet, Witch's Cauldron, Chromatic Star, Soul Ring, obviously kind of standard. Ashnod's Altar, another way to sack your stuff. Tormod's Crypt, because it is Tormod's Crypt. And it's another sacrifice, and it's a free sacrifice. Enchantments. Dictate of Erebos. Revel in Riches, because we can do a lot of sacrificing, and with Dictate of Erebos, if we sack a bunch of our stuff, our opponent's creatures will die, and then we get to create treasures. And we have other stuff that makes treasures, so it's not necessarily all from our opponent's creatures dying. Sometimes it's just because we have a whole bunch of treasures laying around from other stuff. Omen of the Dead. If you're running black, any kind of graveyard recurrence, you're going to run Omen of the Dead. Breeding Pit, it gives us 0/1 thralls at every end of our turn, and we got to pay 2 to keep it around, which isn't a bad deal to have something to sack. Bastion of Remembrance, since we're doing a lot of sacking, why not gain some life and deal some damage? Phyrexian Etchings. Dark Prophecy. Whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card and lose a life. This counts when we sacrifice them, so free draw. That is the enchantments in the deck. For instance, we have Dark Ritual. Obviously, any deck running black should be running Dark Ritual and Commander. Bake into a Pie. Plunder Forbidden, because it says sacrifice 1 or more creatures. If you do, copy this spell equal to the amount of creatures sacrificed. Murder, one of the best removals. Terminate. Village Rites, because it says sacrifice a creature. Rakdos Charm, exile all cards from target creature's graveyard, destroy target artifact. Each creature deals 1 damage to its controller, so it may or may not be a win con depending on the game. Alright, so sorceries. We have Reprocess. Sacrifice any number of artifacts, creatures, or lands. Draw a card for each permanent sacrifice this way, which is great for JURI. Last one standing. Choose a creature at random and then destroy the rest. Victimize, so we get some recurrence in the graveyard. Necrotic Hex, each player sacks 6 creatures, and you create 6 tapped 2/2 black zombie creature tokens, so more sack outlets. Brass's Bounty, so this with your Revel in Riches is also another thing late game, because you get a bunch of treasure tokens with it when you cast it. So as long as the treasures survive the turn of the table, you'll be fine, and then you can win off Revel in Riches. Spark Harvest, as an additional cost, sacrifice a creature, which is what we want. Rise Again's Graveyard Recurrence. Bloody Betrayal, because what better way to get at your opponent? Let's sack their stuff. Severed Strands, sack creature, gain life, destroy target creature and opponent controls. And then obviously a board wipe in Garrick's Wake to destroy everybody else's permanents. So guys, that is this deck tech. This is a fairly quick one. It's a really simple deck. All you want to do is sacrifice, get Jury out turn 2, and just start sacrificing stuff. Like always, the deck list is down in the description box. There's a link at the top of the description. You click it, it will show you the entire deck list, lands and all. I just don't do the lands in these videos because it would be like a 20-minute video, 30-minute video if we did. So I leave those for you guys to just check out in the list down below. And if you want to check the prices of the decks, the link has those too. You can see the prices of all the cards and all that type of thing. If maybe you want to build this deck or anything like that. And if you have some suggestions or something I could run in the deck, let me know. Because I'm not opposed to powering up the decks. My play group is not CEDH, but you know they try to power up their decks a little bit, you know. So I will see you guys in the next deck tech video, and we'll see you in the next one.